In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the beneficent, students, welcome to our very first online lecture for our international aspirants. And we welcome you to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to study composition and functions of blood, and this is our inaugural session. So today we will take an overview of composition and functions of blood. We will study composition and functions of blood, but first take a glance at some important properties of blood. For example, the normal pH range of blood is 7.35 to 7.45, okay, which is slightly alkaline. So the normal pH range of blood is in a range of 7.35 to 7.45, and this value shows that this is slightly alkaline. The venous blood normally has a lower pH than the arterial blood because of presence of more carbon dioxide. So what happens that venous blood contains more carbon dioxide, and due to the presence of more carbon dioxide in venous blood, it has a lower pH. Okay, it has the venous blood normally has a lower pH than the arterial blood. Why? Because more carbon dioxide is present in venous blood. Then temperature. The temperature of the blood is 38 degrees Celsius. We know the normal body temperature of humans is 37 degrees Celsius, but the temperature of the blood is 38 degree Celsius, about 1 degree centigrade higher than oral or rectal body temperature. Next term is viscosity. Next characteristic of blood is viscosity. Viscosity means thickness or resistance to flow. So viscosity means thickness or resistance to flow. Blood is about 3 to 5 times denser and more viscous than water and feels slightly sticky. So, blood is about 3 to 5 times denser and more viscous than water, and it gives a sticky appearance. It feels slightly sticky. Viscosity is increased by the presence of blood cells and plasma proteins. So, why blood is viscous? It is viscous due to the presence of blood cells and plasma proteins. This thickness contributes to normal blood pressure. So, this thickness contributes to normal blood pressure. The color of blood varies with its oxygen contents. So we say that arterial blood is bright red due to its high level of oxygen. So arterial blood is bright red in color due to its high level of oxygen. On the contrary, on the other hand, venous blood has given up much of its oxygen in tissues and thus has a darker, dull red color. So, the color of blood varies with its oxygen content. When we talk about amount of blood in individuals, so blood constitutes about 20% of extracellular fluid. So blood constitutes about 20% of extracellular fluid, amounting to 8% of total body mass. So means it makes 8% of total body mass. The blood volume is 5 liters to 6 liters in average sized adult male and 4 liters to 5 liters in an average sized adult female. So it was just an overview of some important properties of blood. and now we see composition of blood. So when we describe uh, percentage of different components of blood on the basis of body weight, we say whole blood means blood cells uh, are or blood plasma. So whole blood makes 8% of body weight of an individual, while other fluids and tissues are 92%. Okay, this blood that makes 8% of body weight of individuals. Here, uh, blood plasma is 55%, and formed elements, blood cells, are 45%. Then, when we talk about blood plasma has water. A major part of blood plasma is water, that is 91.5%. Then proteins make a share of 7% of total in blood plasma contents, and proteins include albumins, globulins, fibrinogen, and some other proteins. All other proteins. So this was an account of proteins present in blood plasma. When we talk about some other solutes, these include electrolytes, nutrients, gases, regulatory substances, and waste products. So these are some other solutes that are present in blood plasma. When we talk about about formed elements or blood cells, means red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets. So here we see that red blood cells are present in much higher amount. These make 4.8 to 5.4 million uh, per microliter of blood. Okay, white blood cells are present about 5,000 to 10,000, and platelets make an account of 1 lakh 50,000 to 4 lakhs. Then white blood cells are further of five types: neutrophils, which make 60 to 70% of all leukocytes or white blood cells. Lymphocytes make 20 to 25%. Monocytes make 3 to 8%. Eosinophils make 2 to 4%, and basophils make 0.5 to 1% of the contents of white blood cells. Uh, we studied that blood is composed of blood plasma and blood cells or formed elements. So now we will take an account of blood plasma. When formed elements are removed from blood, a straw-colored liquid called blood plasma is left. So when formed elements are removed from blood, a straw-colored liquid called blood plasma is left. The table below describes the chemical composition of blood plasma. Water is 91.5%. It is the liquid portion of blood, acts as a solvent and a suspending medium for components of blood. It absorbs, transports, and releases heat. Next are plasma proteins. These exert colloid osmotic pressure, which helps maintain water balance between blood and tissues, and regulates blood volume. When we talk about albumin, it is smallest and most numerous blood plasma proteins. So these are smallest and most numerous blood plasma proteins, and we studied that albumins make 54% of the proteins present in blood plasma. So produced by liver, and these transport proteins for several steroid hormones and for fatty acids. Then next group is globulins, produced by liver and plasma cells. These are produced by liver and plasma cells, which develop from B lymphocytes. Antibodies help attack viruses and bacteria. Okay, and alpha and beta globulins transport iron, lipids, and fat soluble vitamins. Uh, Proteins are also present some other groups such as fibrinogen. These are produced by liver, and these play essential role in blood clotting. When we talk about other nutrients which make 1.5% of blood plasma, these are electrolytes, nutrients, gases, regulatory substances, and waste products. So, what are electrolytes? Inorganic salts, positively charged ions, cations include sodium ions, potassium ions, calcium ions, and magnesium ions. Negatively charged ions and ions include chloride ions, hydrogen, phosphide ions, sulfate ions, hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate ions. These help maintain osmotic pressure, and these play essential roles in different functions of cells. Nutrients are next component of some other solutes in blood plasma, and these are the products of digestion pass into blood for distribution to all body cells. These include amino acids, which are the products of proteins, digested products of proteins, glucose that is yielded from carbohydrates, fatty acids, and glycerols are yielded from triglycerides, vitamins, and minerals. When we talk about gases, these are oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. More oxygen is associated with hemoglobin inside red blood cells. Uh, More carbon dioxide is dissolved in plasma. So, what we have studied, more oxygen is associated with hemoglobin inside red blood cells, and more CO2 is dissolved in plasma, and nitrogen is present, but no known functions in the body. When we talk about regulatory substances, these include enzymes produced by body cells, catalyze chemical reactions, hormones produced by endocrine glands, regulate metabolism, growth, and development. Vitamins are cofactors for enzymatic reactions. And when we talk about waste products that are also present in the blood plasma, these are most of these are breakdown products of protein metabolism and are carried by blood. So these are carried means transported by blood, carried by blood to organs of excretion. These include urea, uric acid, creatine, glutamine, bilirubin, and ammonia. When we talk about formed elements or blood cells, so these are red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Okay, so first we will study uh, red blood cells, which are also symbolized as RBCs or also known as erythrocytes. These are 4.8 million per microliter in females and 4.5 million per microliter in males. And when we talk about their characteristics, these are 7 to 8 micrometer in diameter. These are biconcave discs. Uh, Red blood cells are without nuclei at maturity. These live for 120 days. Their lifespan is about 120 days. What are their functions? These contain hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is present within red blood cells, and this hemoglobin within red blood cells transports most of the oxygen and part of carbon dioxide in the blood. Then next component is white blood cells, symbolized as the WBCs or also known as leukocytes. These are present in the amount from ranging from 5,000 to 10,000 per microliter. Most live for a few hours to a few days. Some called T and B memory cells can live for many years. These combat pathogen and other foreign substances that enter the body. Leukocytes are of two types: granular leukocytes and agranular leukocytes. Granular leukocytes are include neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils, while agranular leukocytes include lymphocytes and monocytes. So first we will have an account of granular leukocytes and neutrophils. These are 60 to 70% of all white blood cells. These are 10 to 12 micrometer in diameter. Nucleus has 2 to 5 lobes connected by thin strands of chromatin, and their cytoplasm has very fine, pale linear granules. Well, they play a role in phagocytosis, destruction of bacteria with lysozymes, defensins, and strong oxidants such as superoxide anion, hydrogen peroxide, and hypochlorite anion. And eosinophils, these are 2 to 4% of all white blood cells. These range in diameter from 10 to 12 micrometer. Nucleus usually have two lobes connected by thick strand of chromatin. Large red-orange granules fill the cytoplasm. These eliminate parasites, means these also play a role in defense, such as worms which are too big to be phagocytosed. Phagocytes, antigen antibody complexes, and combat the effects of histamine in allergic reactions. Basophils, these are 0.5 to 1% of all white blood cells. These are 8 to 10 micrometer in diameter. Nucleus has two lobes. Large cytoplasmic granules appear a deep blue purple. These liberate heparin, histamine, and serotonin in allergic reactions that intensify the overall inflammatory response. Uh, then there are two other types. There are two other types of white blood cells which are known as agranular leukocytes. These are lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes also include T cells, B cells, and natural killer cells. Lymphocytes are 20 to 25% of all white blood cells. Small lymphocytes are 6 to 9 micrometer in diameter. Large lymphocytes are 10 to 14 micrometer in diameter. The nucleus is round or slightly indented. Cytoplasm forms a ring around the nucleus that looks sky blue. The larger the cell, the more cytoplasm is visible. These have medium immune response, including antigen antibody reactions. These cells develop into plasma cells which secrete antibodies. T cells attack invading viruses, cancer cells, and transplanted tissue cells. Natural killer cells attach a wide variety of infectious microbes and certain spontaneously arising tumor cells. Monocytes make 3 to 8% of all white blood cells. These are 12 to 20 micrometer in diameter. Nucleus, they have kidney shaped or horseshoe shaped nucleus. Cytoplasm is blue gray and has foamy appearance. These act on the hypothalamus, causing the rise in body temperature with microbial infections. These stimulate the production of some globulins by the liver. These enhance the production of activated T lymphocytes and also play a role in phagocytosis. Platelets, their content is 1 lakh 50,000 to 4 lakhs per microliter. They are 2 to 3 micrometer in diameter. Cell fragments that live for 5 to 9 days. These contain many vesicles but no nucleus. From platelet plug in homeostasis release chemicals that promote vascular spasm and blood clotting. So these play a very important role in the blood clotting. Hemophysis stages in the development of blood cells. So here we say there are proerythroblasts, megakaryoplasts, myeloblasts, monoblasts, lymphoblasts. Proerythroblasts form erythroblasts, which further form reticulocytes and differentiate into erythrocytes. Similarly, megakaryoplasts form platelets, myeloblasts form uh, granulocytes, granular leukocytes, basophils, eosinophils, and neutrophils. Monoblasts form monocytes, and lymphoblasts form T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes, and these are agranulocytes. Functions as well as their functions are concerned, these have roles in transportation. For example, in role in respiration, distributing oxygen, carrying and transporting oxygen to all body cells. These have nutrient carrier from GIT, gastrointestinal tract. These act as transportation of hormones from endocrine glands. These transport metabolic wastes. These have roles in the regulation of different body functions, such as these regulate pH. These adjust and maintain body temperature, maintain water content of cells, and these also have roles as in protection. For example, white blood cells protect against disease by phagocytosis. These are reservoir for substances like water, electrolytes, and these perform homeostasis. So thank you. And today we covered our very first session that may be termed as inaugural session for our international aspirants, and it was about blood composition and functions. And here we studied composition of blood in detail, and then we studied had an overview of functions of blood in humans and other animals. So it's all for today. Stay blessed always. Thank you. God will bless you. Allah Hafiz.